Dispatch quietly launched at the end of 2025 and quickly became what many now call the next-generation Telltale legend, but in a very short time, it reached millions of players and turned into a viral phenomenon. And the moment Season 1 ended, everyone was left with one single question. Is Dispatch really over, or is it only just beginning? Producer statements officially point to the continuation of this universe. In today's video, we're going to talk in full detail about everything we know so far about Dispatch Season 2 and what kind of superhero universe awaits us in Dispatch 2. If you want to see more gaming videos like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's begin. This episodic superhero game from AdHoc Studio, founded by former Telltale developers, didn't just bring players back the long-missed feeling of a true narrative game through its story, but also through its style, humor, and choice-driven structure. The moment Dispatch's 8-episode first season ended, players were left with a single question. Is this universe really ending here? Or are we just getting started? The biggest reason this question rose so quickly and so powerfully is Dispatch's incredible numbers. Just 10 days after launch, the game passed the 1 million sales mark, a nearly impossible achievement for story-driven titles. Concurrent player counts on Steam reached into the hundreds of thousands. It earned one of the highest user ratings of the year on the PlayStation Store. And it became a fully viral phenomenon on YouTube thanks to million-view videos from massive creators like Jacksepticeye and MoistCR, one Tikal. Dispatch is no longer a niche narrative game. It has become a mainstream IP. This success appears to have reshaped AdHoc Studio's entire roadmap. Statements from founders Pierre Charette and Nick Herman on podcasts show that the door to Dispatch Season 2 has officially been opened. The phrase, "we now at least have to think about Season 2, may sound like a simple wish, but in the gaming world, it sends a very clear message. Dispatch became something far bigger than expected, and the studio is now seriously questioning the idea of ending this universe with just one season. And this desire isn't limited to the developers. It's also clearly present among the cast that became the face of the game. Aaron Paul, who brought main character Robert Robertson II to life, openly stated that he would love to do multiple seasons of Dispatch, showing that he is fully open to this universe becoming a long-running series. This is perhaps one of the most critical thresholds for a sequel because when the studio, the cast, and the market all say, "let's continue" at the same time, the question shifts from will it happen to when and how will it happen. However, the biggest obstacle standing in front of Dispatch Season 2 is actually the very system that made the game so special. Dispatch has a structure where the player's choices, relationships with characters, and performance in missions heavily branch the story. That means a potential second season would have to account for dozens of different scenarios: which characters are alive, which relationships continue, how save data is carried over, and much more. In short, Dispatch 2 has to be a far bigger and riskier project, both technically and narratively, than a standard sequel. One of the most interesting aspects of the Dispatch universe is that the first season feels like nothing more than the front door to a much larger world. Even though the final episodes gave many players a satisfying sense of closure, the structure of the story leaves a massive, unexplored space behind. As AdHoc Studio itself has stated, the Dispatch universe has only been scratched on the surface, which suggests that Season 2 could expand the story from completely new perspectives rather than simply continuing where it left off. In other words, the second season may not just continue the story, it may deepen the Dispatch universe from entirely different angles. One of the most talked about theories at this point is the possibility that the Mecha Man-centered storyline could slowly be pushed into the background. Throughout Season 1, Mecha Man's main motivation revolved around recovering his lost armor, and that arc has largely been completed. This strengthens the idea that Dispatch Season 2 could shift its main character focus. Another Dispatch office member could step into the protagonist role, or the story could revolve around an entirely new Dispatch team. This could be a critical move that brings Dispatch closer to a multi-character universe structure similar to Marvel or DC. Dispatch's choice-based structure also makes Season 2's narrative far more complex and far more intriguing. Decisions you made in Season 1 determined which characters lived, which relationships strengthened or completely broke. That means Season 2 could open with entirely different starting scenarios depending on the player. For some players, a character may be central, while for others, that same character may be completely sidelined. This could turn Dispatch 2 into a different experience for every single player. The developer team has also mentioned that certain character concepts cut from Season 1 could serve as major hints for Season 2. In particular, statements about a K-pop star-themed character concept called Winter potentially returning show that the Dispatch universe won't remain limited to classic superhero themes, but could expand into very different areas of pop culture. This suggests we may see a much more colorful and much larger character roster in Dispatch 2. One of the biggest questions in the middle of all this speculation is when Dispatch Season 2 might arrive. There is no official release date yet, and the development team is avoiding giving a firm timeline due to the length of modern game development cycles. However, given Dispatch's massive reception, platform expansions, and increasing budget potential, Season 2 is expected not to arrive someday, but at the right time. This strongly suggests that Dispatch 2 won't be a rushed sequel, but part of a much larger long-term vision. One of the most critical topics that will shape Dispatch's future appears to be its release model. The first season was delivered in a weekly episodic format, but the development team openly stated that this model was extremely demanding both in production and marketing. Because of that, Dispatch Season 2 may shift away from weekly episodes and instead release as a full season package. This kind of change could reduce production strain while allowing players to experience the story without interruption, potentially strengthening the narrative impact of the Dispatch universe even further. On the platform side, Dispatch's growth strategy is already starting to show. While the game initially launched on PlayStation 5 and PC, it was soon announced for Switch and the next generation Switch 2 as well. This shows that AdHoc Studio wants to bring Dispatch to the widest possible player base rather than limiting it to a single platform. Expanding to more platforms before Season 2 arrives could massively multiply the potential audience for the next season. Dispatch's future may also extend beyond the gaming world. In some developer interviews, it has been openly hinted that the Dispatch universe has the potential to be adapted into different media formats, like Invincible or The Boys. In other words, Dispatch is being seen as a powerful IP that could one day evolve into an animated series or even a live-action shared universe. If these plans come to life, Dispatch Season 2 may become not just a sequel, but the starting point of a much larger Transmedia universe. One of the biggest signs of this is Dispatch's viral presence on social media and YouTube. The hype created by major streamers playing the game transformed Dispatch from a play-it-if-you-want title into a story universe that people follow even by watching. This turned Dispatch into a brand discussed like a TV series with theories, episode debates, and season finales people actively wait for. Season 2, therefore, doesn't just mean new episodes, it means a whole new wave of hype. When all of this is taken together, Dispatch 2 stands far beyond being a classic sequel. With its character structure, the complexity of its choice system, potential changes to its release model, platform expansion, and transmedia potential, Dispatch has become not just a game, but a growing superhero brand. The fact that Dispatch Season 2 is now being discussed not in terms of will it happen, but what will it be like, is the clearest sign of how massive an impact this game created in such a short time. Season 1 reached a far larger audience than AdHoc Studio ever imagined, both through sales numbers and viral power on social media. That shifted Dispatch from being a one-season narrative experiment into a long-term brand. Studio discussions starting up, cast members eager to continue, and a market ready for more all point towards Season 2 entering an inevitable path. Dispatch 2's greatest strength will be the sense of control it gives to the player. Every step you took in Season 1, every decision you made, and every relationship you built could turn into completely different outcomes in Season 2. That could make Dispatch Season 2 feel not just like a new story, but like your second life inside the Dispatch universe. Each player having their own unique Dispatch 2 experience could make this game endlessly replayable and constantly discussed. With all this potential in mind, it's nearly impossible for Dispatch Season 2 to be a standard sequel. This project could either become the foundation of a much larger narrative universe where AdHoc Studio pushes its limits, or set a brand new standard that will be talked about in the gaming world for years. What Dispatch accomplished wasn't just telling players a story, it made them truly feel like they were part of it. Season 2 is the biggest opportunity to take that feeling even further. The most exciting part about Dispatch's future is the feeling that we are still at the very beginning of this universe. Season 1 was a beginning, an introduction, a doorway. Dispatch 2 could be the moment that door fully opens, revealing the universe's full potential. With new characters, new teams, different perspectives, and much darker or bolder stories, Dispatch has the potential to bring a completely fresh flavor to the superhero genre. Even though Dispatch Season 2 hasn't been officially announced yet, developer statements, Aaron Paul's eagerness to return, record-breaking sales and viewership, and Dispatch's growing fanbase clearly show that this universe isn't ending here. And when Dispatch 2 arrives, it won't just bring a new story, it will bring a much bigger, much bolder, and much deeper superhero universe shaped by player choices. Don't forget to write your expectations for Season 2 and the characters you want to see in the comments, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.